I'm really, really honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me. You all are amazing, beyond Baroque. It's been a very sacred place for me since I was a teenage girl. So thank you for having me. I'm not going to say thank you to all the same people again, but thank you. And the ACLU people in the lobby and the Penn people in the lobby, thank you. Truly, thank you. I'm just going to go off script for 2 seconds. One is I want to suggest to you or remind us all that we voted Barack Obama in office not once but twice, right? So this whole notion of hope, we need to, I feel for myself that I need to throw the word hope out of the window and just do it, right? We did it once before, we did it twice before. It's our country, it's our party, it's our parties, right? There's no reason to hope, we have to do it. Period. As my son would say, channeling Yoda, there is no try. Try, there is no try. Do, right? And we did it, you guys. We don't have to sit in this position of reactivity, right? We don't need to resist. We can attack. We attack. We do not resist. Okay? So for this upcoming election, he's out, period. There's nothing else there's no question. When we voted for Obama, we all, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I was like, he's getting in office, period, right? And then we proceeded to do everything in our power to make that happen. And Obama said in his acceptance speech, you did this, and we can do it again. It is our power, it is our country. There is no reason to resist, we will attack. There's no reason to hope, we will do, okay? Okay. To that end, I would like to talk about sexism. It's very easy to think about 45 and forget that we are in a context of extremely toxic patriarchy, extremely toxic masculinity. And to that end, it's also very easy to forget that this has been going on for millennia, right? It's not funny. And that, as much as anything else, needs to change. So I'm going to read some new poems, but I'm also going to read one old poem, and it's called Verga. Verga has the distinction in Italian and Spanish of meaning both rod or stick or virgin. Go figure. It has an epigraph. It has an epigraph, and I'm reading this poem for all the women and all the men in the world who have been victims of sexual violence of any sort. The epigraph is from Abshira Aden Mohammed, who was in a Dagaheli Somali refugee camp in 2000. In Kenya. Here's the epigraph. Women don't want the men to go into the bush because the women will only be raped, but the men will be killed. I have seen a woman who was caught in the bush by several men. They tied her legs to 2 trees while she was standing. They raped her many times, and before leaving her, they put stones in her vagina. That's Abshira Aden Mohammed, and this poem is Verga. Before leaving her, they put stones in her vagina. The men will only be raped, but the stones will be killed. The bush caught many men to go into the stones. The stones will be killed by several trees before leaving. The bush tied the men to the trees in their vaginas. Before bush go to trees, they kill many stones. Many men will be caught by the trees in the bush. Several trees will be raped by the bush and then killed. Only the caught men will be stoned and bushed by the trees. Several men were caught by the trees before leaving. The men will be killed, but the stones will only be treed. The stones put many trees into the men's killed vaginas. By the bush, the trees were raped only several times. Before leaving, the vaginas were seen standing in the stones. You guys know the famous, Daguerre's famous Boulevard du Temple, the photograph, the first photograph that contained a human figure in history? Okay, quickly. It should have, so Boulevard du Temple, Paris, 1838, it should have captured a whole bustling street of people and movement and horses and all of these things, but because the aperture was so slow, it's new photographic technology, right? The first photograph, it can only capture a bootblack shining a man's shoes in the middle of the 19th century. I've always found that curious, that the only person in the 19th century that could be captured by accident was a person in a subservient position. I wrote this poem, Self-Portrait as the Boot Black in Daguerre's Boulevard du Temple. I don't believe I thought or gave names in any known language. I spoke of myself always in the third person. What led up to it, I hadn't the faintest idea. I only knew the event itself took place. Constant discrepancies, to throw them off, I laughed, talked all games and amusements to escape from the burden of my own internal history. But I was there, trying for once to see you, longed so to see you. I might meet you in the street, a bicycle leaning up against the wall by the window. Rendered laws of my country played before my face, historical, two-souled, forgotten, unknown freaks of memory. The matter of debts, the violent death of a near relation and all landing at the faintest conception. Dark, blue, and then all I can remember is when I saw you. It was you or anyone else. The shot seemed to end all. It belongs to the new world, the present all entangled, unable to move. Everything turned around and looked at you. Thank you. Reason for the girls. God goes out for whiskey Friday night, staggers back Monday morning, empty-handed, no explanation. After 3 nights of not sleeping, 3 nights of listening for his footsteps, his mule sliding deftly under my bed, I stand at the stove, giving him my back, wearing the same tight, tacky dress, same slip, same seam stockings I put on before he left. He leans on the kitchen table, waiting for me to make him his coffee. I watch the water boil, refuse to turn around, wonder how to leave him. Woman, he slurs, when have I ever done what you wanted me to do? Thank you. And then I'm just going to close with the latest poem. I wrote it for Witten, the painter, the artist. But I think it's relevant to the theme of the day. Mother Church number 10, homage to Witten. Once you were a saddle made of smoothed wood, a saddle worn by a stallion, crab-stepping over the sand on the bottom of the ocean. Once you were an omen, ochre and dusted with rust, or you were just gray matter, sawdust, but still everything. You were an alarm clock, you were linen, you were twine once. You were a fragrant black tin of shoe polish my dead father left, tucked way back inside the kitchen drawer. Only you can read this. Black mulberry, marble, glue, pane of glass, copper, wire, wax, wild cypress, brass. I've placed all the bones you will ever need inside you. I challenged every zealous god and nailed each one down here for you. Olive tree, a lock of virgin's hair. Outside, I am a bird, but inside, I am a boat in which I ferry our future back and forth between the ancient and modern world. I sleep where Socrates slept, inside a burning tree, spears rushing the door. I am trying to make the wood happy. Every engine in the world depends upon me. Thank you.